Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name is Jeremiah Krakowski, and in this podcast I help coaches, mentors, and trainers scale their businesses to the next level. Now today I want to walk you through what it takes to go from 6 to 7 figures and what it takes to go from 0 to 6 figures. We're going to talk about that whole process in the 2 milestones. I believe oftentimes people have these goals and they have these dreams and they want to get there, but they don't really know what it takes. As somebody who's been able to build a 7-figure business and has been able to actually help build multiple 8-figure businesses over the years, I know what it takes, and I've helped guide and direct hundreds of people just like yourself to be able to go through this process. So when it takes to go from 6 to 7 figures, well, let's back up a second here. If you're not even making 6 figures yet, we'll touch on that a little bit. 100% you got to believe that it's possible for you. You're not going to make any amount in that level unless you believe that it's possible for you. And then you got to do what a person who does those things does. Oftentimes we look at it and we say, well, once I arrive at that level, then I will do what a person who does that does. And that's the problem. Because what you do is you get the results from who you become and the actions that you do. And so you actually have to do what a person does who makes 6 figures before you make 6 figures. To make 7 figures, you have to do what a millionaire does before you make 7 figures. And that's the part where it just messes with people's heads, because we're so ingrained with a very specific way of doing things in our life. There's a very specific way that we think that we should do stuff, how we should show up in the world. We have habits that we are convinced, okay, this is how I do things, and I don't want to deviate from this because, well, what if my friends, what if my family, and ultimately we literally let fear and worry stop us from having the kind of success that we want, okay? Now, to get to 6 figures, honestly, it's a lot easier than you think. It's about having value, doing the work, disciplining yourself to show up, to do the hard things, even when you don't feel like it, enough to get people to pay you 6 figures. Unfortunately, a lot of times it has more to do with your belief in what your value is and being afraid that people won't see it or that they'll think you're taking advantage of them or all this type of stuff that is preventing you from making 6 figures. I've not earned less than 6 figures myself personally, minimum, since, oh gosh, when was the year when I first, it was like, it had to have been at least 2016. So almost 10 years now, I've not earned less than 6 figures. In fact, I haven't earned less than $250,000 in almost the last 10 years. Okay? And so take it from me as somebody who has gone from being able to earn that to then finally earning it, and then, you know, ups and downs. I earned it in a job, and then I earned it in a business. It's because I didn't accept any less than that. And you got to raise your temperature of what you are willing to accept as the bare minimum for you to reach those next levels. And this is what applies at both levels. For you to reach 6 figures and for you to reach 7 figures, you got to get a vision for where you're going. You got to be able to see it happen before it happens. You got to be able to see clearly it coming to pass for you. You making 6 figures and 7 figures before it actually happens. You got to feel what it would feel like internally in your nervous system. You got to start to meditate on that. You got to start to believe that it's going to happen. And I'll tell you, mindset matters more than anything else, both at both of these levels. Now, when it comes from a strategic level, in my Wealthy Coach Academy program, I coach people every single day on what to do. What are those actions to be able to make that kind of money? Well, as a coach and as a mentor, you got to get leads on your email list, and then you close those leads. And that means you're going to have to talk to people who might not want to talk to you, but you find who the gold are. You find the ones who are willing to talk to you, and you turn them into clients. And you don't worry about what everybody else thinks about you. You don't stop because you're concerned with, are they going to like me? Are they going to accept me? Well, what if they get annoyed with me? You're not letting that concern affect you. And that's one of the biggest things that I notice prevents people from making 6 figures. is they're letting their stinking thinking stop them from doing that, being concerned about what other people think about them. They're trying so hard to do everything perfect. They call it a spirit of excellence. Spirit of excellence is what keeps people from making six figures, not what makes it. That's what I've noticed more than anything else. And then to get to seven figures, it's about systems. It's about optimizing your time, optimizing your life. And this is the part that a lot of people won't do, because it's actually very easy to make six figures, even multiple six figures. I can make multiple six figures half-assing it in my life. But to get to seven figures, that's where you got to really double down on the self-discipline, on the systems, on the optimization, on the time management, on the not making excuses, on the not letting your situations prevent you from doing something. You know, I have friends of mine who they have never earned less than $1 million in decades. And it's because they literally can't think as somebody who would earn less than $1 million. One big thing is they don't need to do all the work themselves. A big thing about going to $1 million is outsourcing, delegating, getting other people to do the work for you, not needing to be the one that does all the work yourself. And then learning how to utilize those systems to just do more, make more offers, and just do more of what got you to six figures. Oftentimes what gets people to seven figures is just doing more often, and more leveraged of what got them to six figures. So if you got to six figures, what if you just talk to more people? Well, you say, I don't have enough time to. Well, okay, figure out how to hire a sales team. Train a sales team to talk to more people for you. Now you've duplicated yourself. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it is. And oftentimes we have the pride and ego that says, well, I got to do it all myself. And that's what keeps us from making seven figures. Is feeling like we got to do it all ourselves. You got to leverage your time. And then you want to connect with more people. If I can connect with 100 people this month and that makes me six figures, to make seven figures, I got to try to connect with 1,000 people a month. And that's really sometimes all it is a numbers game at that point. And then you figure out, okay, what systems are there? Well, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have the ability. I don't make the finances to be able to contact that many people, reach that many people right now. Well, great. What systems can you put into place? How can you leverage things to be able to do that? It's instead of I can't, it's how can I? How can I make it happen? What can I do? And we stop complaining. And listen, I get it. Life happens. One of the biggest things that happened in my life recently, over the last 2 years, has been the biggest blessing because it's taught me to double down on my systems and optimization. My wife gave birth to 2 incredible, healthy baby boys. And it has changed our lives. I've had to optimize my business to be more automated. Everything in my business is automated, where I don't have to do all the work myself. I utilize AI, I utilize team members to get things done faster, quicker, and on time. And that's what allows me to work less hours to be able to create far more wealth and finances for myself and my family, is to be able to do that. And so if you want to know what it takes, you want to just get to six figures, well, it's going to take getting over yourself and actually becoming kind of a different person, in a sense, becoming that person who can earn six figures. You might have to hang out with different people. I remember actually changing my friend group of who I was hanging out with was one of the number one things that affected my ability to make that kind of money. And then going to seven figures was about doubling down on what it took to get me to six figures. It was about getting more serious with my time, not making as much excuses, changing my habits, figuring out how to get more done faster and optimized with less time. And so that's what it is, and that's what it takes oftentimes. Oftentimes we think that there's something else going on. Maybe something else going on is what's going on between your head, your mental health, working on your mindset, working on how you're thinking about things. One of the best ways to work on your mindset, number one, getting a therapist. Number two, You can use AI like ChatGPT to actually talk through problems that you might be having in your mindset and your thinking. And it can help you solve those things. Having a therapist and even working with AI to be able to help you with your mindset is one of the greatest things that was able to unlock the goals, the vision, and the dreams that I had in my life. To be able to figure out, okay, why do I do things the way that I do? What's going on deeper? Why do I keep self-sabotaging? This was one of my biggest things. I would reach levels where I should be making multiple millions of dollars, and then I would sabotage and fall flat on my face and have to start over again. Why is that? What was causing me to sabotage? What was the root of those things? Getting to the root told me why the fruit was a certain way. The fruit is the outcome that I was getting. And by getting to the root, I was able to change my behavior, change my habits, change how I'm showing up. And I can literally see everything in my life start to shift as I do that. And it'll shift for you as well if you do the same thing. Listen, if you're a coach, mentor, trainer, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to help you get to 6 and 7 figures. In my Wealthy Coach Academy program, I help people every single week process through, work through, write their ads, their sales copy, get more leads, more clients, and make their business successful. And that's what I can help you with as well in my Wealthy Coach Academy program. Make sure you jump in there with us. Jump into one of the free trainings that we offer that's over on my website at jeremiahkrakowski.com. I'll see you next week. We'll talk soon. Have a good one.